What's up, guys? How's it going? It is Matt here. So we're going to be talking about a mindset that instructors alike we come across all the time, and it is a struggle. It is a struggle for us as instructors trying to teach students how to shoot and try to teach them new things. It's a mindset that we come across a lot, and I want to adjust it real quick, and I want to talk about expectations before you come to an actual class. So as an instructor, most instructors, most legitimate instructors, what they do is they train a lot. We shoot weekly. A lot of legitimate instructors, we shoot weekly, literally weekly. Some people even shoot more than that. They shoot daily, 6 times a week, 7 times a week. There are instructors that freaking shoot nonstop. They've shot more guns or more rounds in 1 month than most people have shot in their entire lives. Right? There's a lot of instructors who are out there like that. There's a lot of instructors like me that we do shoot every single week, daily, every single week, and every time we shoot, we're in the hundreds of a round count when we actually shoot. So as instructors, we are constantly learning new techniques. So we're constantly learning new techniques, doing research and stuff like that, and we're constantly practicing different things. Weekly, daily, we practice nonstop. Even in dry fire practice, we practice stuff nonstop. Shooting, we practice nonstop, and we learn a lot of techniques. We learn some stuff that works and learn stuff that doesn't work, and some stuff that are iffy and stuff like that. So as instructors, we do a lot of research and put a lot of time into teaching proper techniques. And as an instructor, when you're working with different students, and some have bad habits and some are new to shooting and stuff like that too, you help them develop good techniques. That's kind of our job. You help them develop good techniques and focus on fundamentals, and they're hitting the target very well, they're shooting very well. And that's what we like doing. It's something that we do a lot. But there's one thing that we come across that just, it kind of drives us crazy. I know it drives me crazy, and my guess it drives other instructors crazy. Is this mindset that sometimes that shows up in our classes? It's like a mindset that shows up in classes, even on my channel, on some of the comments. There's this mindset that shows up on the channel and the classes. Basically what it is, there are some people that they've owned guns for a long time, or they've been around guns for a long time. And just because you own guns and you've been around guns for a long time doesn't mean you shoot it a whole lot, and it doesn't necessarily mean that makes you an expert just because you have a lot of guns. All right, just because you have a lot of guns doesn't mean you're a shooter. It just means you spend a lot of money on guns, right? Just because you have a lot of guns or you've been around guns doesn't mean you know a damn thing about how to use them properly. Now, there's a lot over the years. There's been technique after technique of technique, whether it was the teacup, the one-handed grip, the pocket one-handed grip, the bullseye grip, the teacup, the weaver stance, whatever the stance is. There are so many techniques when it comes to shooting. They always change, but however, there's something that never changes. Fundamentals. Fundamentals never ever change. All right, never ever change. Sight alignment, sight picture. All right, being able to hold the gun still. This is hold control. Being able to hold the gun still when you're shooting, as still as possible when you're shooting. Being able to squeeze the trigger without moving the front sight tip. That's trigger control. Be able to squeeze the trigger without moving the front sight tip. And follow through. After you've shot, you need to hold that trigger back. All right, you need to hold that trigger back. Let it reset, continually focusing on that front sight and where it's lined up, sight picture, sight alignment. And then you pull the next one off. You don't drop your muzzle. You don't drop your muzzle. You don't try to look at the target. You need to have a good follow through. If you have those techniques, you hit the target. It is what it is. If you have good techniques, you hit the target. You need a good grip that you can hold it. You need a stance isn't as important as grip and the actual fundamentals itself, but you need a good solid base that you're comfortable in. There are a lot of techniques that have been taught over the years, but the fundamentals always stay the same. Now, the problem that we have is, say when I'm in a class, I have a class in the state of Connecticut. In order to get even to buy ammo, unfortunately we live in a state like that. In order to buy ammo, you need to have a pistol permit in the state of Connecticut, or an ammo certification. In order to get that permit, you have to have specific classes, and you have to go get your permit, and it's a long ass process, and it sucks, but it's a long process just to be able to simply buy ammunition out here. So there's some people that move out in the state that were out of state, whether in Maine or Florida or wherever it was, and they move into the state, and they have guns. They're gun owner. They had guns for a long time, or they grew up with guns, or whatever it was, but they can't buy ammo, and they want to shoot, and they have the ranges, and their buddies are asking them to come out, and they need to take a class, and they need to get the permit. So they come into class, but they have this really stubborn attitude. I mean, very stubborn attitude. Now, this doesn't just apply to classes. I see it in my comments in some of the videos too. But they have this very stubborn attitude, and for instructors, I know as me as an instructor, man, it drives me crazy. My guess is other instructors, it drives them crazy too. You have to come open-minded when you're coming to a class. You have to come open-minded when you come to a class, and you got to remember something is you are paying someone to teach you something, all right? And the person that you're probably paying to teach is shoots a lot. Usually they've shot a lot. Most legitimate instructors shoot daily. Shoot daily. I mean, they shoot more rounds in a month than you've shot in 5 years. All right, that's how legitimate instructors are. That doesn't even include the dry fire practice they do and all that other stuff, and the research and the techniques that they practice and stuff like that. So legitimate instructors spend a lot of time behind a gun, and they spend a lot of time practicing to be behind a gun. So we learn a lot of things at work. We find bad habits. We have bad habits we develop. So we go get extra training and stuff like that, like 6 Hour Academy, go to get extra training. So that helps us find our personal bad habits, and we work with that. And we take the advice of other instructors, and we try to put that and try to apply it to our own technique so we can learn it. We come into the classes open-minded. However, if you come into a class stubborn, closed-minded, and that you know everything in the entire world just because you've owned a lot of guns over your year, you've been around the guns, that is very counterproductive in the classes. It's very, very counterproductive in the classes. It's hard to teach a student that is fighting you every step of the way. It is hard to teach a student that is fighting you every step of the way. Now, there's a lot, like I said, there's been a lot of techniques over the years. And a lot of people will bitch and complain and say that, oh, I'm doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. This is the proper way to do it and stuff like that. And you know, as an instructor, like I remember one is it was actually this guy came. He was out of state. He came into my class and he was complaining. He says, well, why the hell do we have to qualify with 9mm? I'm tired of this. I don't want to climb it. I want a 45. That's it. I just want a 45. And this is it. Now this guy is all dead. You can only shoot a 45. That's the only gun that you're allowed to shoot, type of deal. And that's the only good gun to get. And what the thing is when he was showing his, you know, when I was working with the grip, he had the classic thumb behind grip, just like that. And he said, this is how I've been shooting since before you were born, type of thing. Is basically, yeah, literally, that's one of the things he said. I've been shooting like this before you were born, so you can't tell me any other way. And it's just like, man, it's like I'm really trying to help this student out, but they refuse to let me help them. And then I try to explain to them why it's not a good idea to put your thumb behind that, especially when you're shooting a semi-automatic pistol, because the slide is the action and it comes back and it'll cut your finger open and have band-aids if you need them. And they'll tell you, oh, I've been doing this all year. You don't know what you're talking about. And then they shoot it, and then I have to give them band-aid when they're done because they're bleeding. All right. So I've had people come to my class that had that attitude, and it's funny. This dude, the 45, I'll be 45, gotta be 911 or steel 45. So I had him. So he wanted, you know, I usually give my students different options to qualify. I usually have them qualify in a Glock 19 9mm, very simple, very easy to use, very good shooter. He refused. He would not do that. He wanted to shoot the 1911. That's the only gun he wanted to qualify on. So I pulled the 1911. He couldn't handle it. He could not handle the gun. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with it. He could not shoot it. He could not handle it. He didn't know how to cycle it properly or anything like that. And he started realizing that when I'm standing next to him as an instructor and he's trying to shoot it and he can't hit a damn thing, and he's been pretty much a jackass to me the entire class and he can't hit a damn thing with it, he starts realizing that, oh, maybe I should start paying attention to this dude that's trying to help me out a little bit, or that I paid to help me out instead of being kind of a stubborn guy. And then I said, how about we switch over to the Glock? I finally got him to switch over to Glock, and I'm going to work on it with this grip, I'm going to work with this, I'm going to work with trigger control. Before you know it, he's hitting the target. All right, before you know it, he's hitting the target. And then when we're done and get them all qualified, then I take out the 1911 again, and they get to shoot, and he takes the techniques that he learned on the simple Glock, and he applies it to that. And he's still having a hard time handling the gun. He's still having a hard time 45, and a 45 is an easy gun to handle. I mean, 45, a lot of people think it's heavy. It's not hard to handle. It is a very smooth, it's very boringly consistent. It's a very smooth gun, very easy to handle round. It really is. And then I switched that. He was still having a hard time with it. And then towards the end of the class, he's like, "Oh, maybe I should stick to a smaller caliber." I'm like, "Oh, it's up to you. It's how you want to do it. I'm just here to teach you guys how to actually use the guns. I'm just here to teach you guys how to shoot, how to use the fundamentals, and use the guns." So when you come into a class, please be respectful of the instructors, and please remember that you are paying this person who's it's their job to teach people how to shoot. It's their job to teach people how to shoot. You're paying this person that trains people on a daily basis to teach you how to shoot. Please cooperate with them. Please cooperate with them. Please listen to them. Become open-minded. Maybe you don't like the technique. Try their techniques that they're teaching, and then once you do it, you're like, hey, you then decide, do I like this technique or not? But just pay attention. Just attempt. Try to be a good student, right? Try to be a good student. We'll say that there. Now, same thing goes to my channel, where I'll do a video, and some people get stubborn. Is how dare you break down the 1911 like that? That's the wrong way. You're only supposed to do it this way, this way, this way. Like, no, I'm not. There's multiple ways to do it, and the way that I works. The way that I do it works. It works very well. As a matter of fact, my gun shoots great. I maintain it daily. It is one of the best shooters that I have in the house. Why? Because I maintain it. I take it apart this way. It doesn't make a difference in how I do it and the technique I do it. Or like some people, how dare you say locked and cocked, or cocked and locked, and locked and cocked, and how it's got to say this way, or they have to say has to be cocked and locked. It's the same thing. You say locked and cocked, right? It's cocked and it's locked. Yes, there's a different order. It doesn't matter. You know what we're talking about. You don't need to be stubborn about it, right? You don't need to be stubborn about it. Just be kind, be polite, be courtesy, or be courteous, and actually, you know, try to learn something. Try to take something from video instead of like critiquing it and being a dick to the person that's trying just doing things a little differently than you're used to, right? And the same thing goes with like when I teach about different techniques and grips and stuff like that. I have a lot of people that complain on the videos. It's like I want them to come to my class. I really want them to come to my class so I could do one-on-one with them and help them shoot, so they could actually learn a few things too. You know, I'm not saying they're a bad shooter, but it'd be nice to be able to actually show them the reasons why we do this and the reasons we do this with live ammunition. It would be nice to show that to them. But let's say, oh, how dare you cheat? That's the worst technique ever, and I've never shot like this, and I've always shot like this, and you're wrong to say. It's like, really? Is like, this is the modern day technique that's taught, and there's a reason a lot of us shooters use this technique when it comes to the grip. There's a reason I hook my finger underneath my right under here, the trigger finger. There's a reason I do that, as it stabilizes the grip while loosening up this hand so you have better trigger control with it. There's a reason we do it, and if you would just simply try it, or, you know, be open-minded about it, you might actually find that it might help out a little bit. But it's always it's very, very stubborn. It's somehow people, how some people shoot, or how some people act, their mentality they have to it. So I'm not trying to make fun of anyone or anything like that. I'm just saying, when you're about to go to a class or something like that, when you have an instructor that literally that their job is to teach you, that's what they do for a living, they teach you how to shoot, be respectful. I mean, be open-minded. You're paying them to teach you something, so be open-minded. Try to learn the technique and apply the techniques. If you don't like them and it doesn't work for you, then go back to your other technique when you're done. But more than likely, if you attempt the stuff that the instructors are teaching you might find that, like, this works. This kind of works pretty good. So I think this guy might have known a little bit of what he's talking about. So maybe I should start trying to do this every now and then. So if you just like if you try to work with us as instructors, you can learn a lot. You really can learn a lot. So anyway, I just want to throw it out there because it's something I come across as an instructor a lot. I know there's a lot of instructors that probably have this very similar issue. There's a lot of stubborn students that come into the class and they're set in their ways, and I've owned guns for years, so I know how to shoot better than you. But in truth, they've shot less than you in their entire life than you shot in with the last month, right? I mean, so it's just because you own guns doesn't make you an expert, right? And just because you've been around guns definitely doesn't make you an expert. You need to train. You need to learn how to use your guns, and you need to constantly be training. You need to constantly keep up on your training and dry fire practice and shoot daily. Otherwise, all the stuff that you learn just kind of goes away. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me. And remember, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. If you like this content, guys, go check me out on Patreon. The link will be down in the description. You can help support this channel. Peace.